Hello, I'm Alex, and this is Zach. I'll be his physical therapist for the day. He's on this stationary bike here, and we're going to be doing an Astrand cycle test to estimate his VO2 max. So we're actually going to start the test itself right now. I'm going to bump him up to 125 watts so that we can start the test. I'm going to be monitoring his vitals throughout the course of the test. He just finished his warm-up. That's why we're starting the test now. His warm-up was at 75 watts. I had him do that for about 4 minutes. He told me his rate of perceived exertion was about 8, which told me that that was an adequate warm-up intensity. In about another minute or so, I'm going to be measuring his vitals to see how he's changed from his warm-up. So there, he wants to remain at around 50 RPMs. And I'm going to be monitoring his vitals to make sure he stays within certain ranges that I'll get into later. So let's take some measurements. Let's do it. All right, so first I'm going to take your heart rate. Doing all right so far? Doing great. Okay. All right, and then I'll take your blood pressure as well. All right, great, looks good to me. All right, so at 5 minutes, I'm going to do the same thing to see how that's changed. In the meantime, we can go over some of your original measurements. So your heart rate resting, after you've been resting for about 5 minutes, I took your heart rate and it was 56 beats per minute. And your blood pressure was 136/70. All right. Zach is a 29-year-old male. He weighs 80 kilograms. He participates in normal, vigorous exercise. Based on that, and also based on the fact that he doesn't have any symptoms of cardiovascular disease, renal disease, or metabolic disease, according to ACSM, he did not require clearance prior to this test, so that qualified him for this test. We also deemed him fit for this test because of those resting measurements. So specifically, his heart rate was between 50 and 120. If it was outside of that range, we wouldn't have done this test. His systolic blood pressure was between 100 and 200. If he was outside of that range again, we would not have done this test. And his diastolic was less than 110. As I'm monitoring his vitals, I'm making sure that he stays within certain ranges so that we don't have to stop the test. If his heart rate decreases at any point with the constant workload, then that would be worrisome and we want to stop the test. Also, if his systolic blood pressure goes above 220 or decreases greater than 10 with activity, that would be problematic. Or if his diastolic blood pressure was greater than 110 or changed more than 10 over its baseline. Or of course, if he has any symptoms like chest pain, that would be worrisome as well. Okay. Just to go over also the seating on here, it's important to make sure that the seat is lined up with his greater trochanter, so he has the proper mechanics while he's doing the bike. All right. How are you doing? All right.
Doing okay.
Yeah.
Definitely feeling the burn a little bit.
Okay.
More so than the warm up. I'd say I'm probably at that 12 RPE, give or take.
And okay. Oh yeah, I was supposed to ask you your RPE the first time. So you said when I took it, it was
when you
before
originally
got 12.
took it was about
Okay.
12.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And I think I'm just about ready to measure you again. So let's do it.
Okay.
Check your pulse. and your blood pressure again. All right. So your vitals are both they're both increasing in a way that we'd expect. So I think we continue with the test, and looks like you're doing all right. So I can just go over that. We have a minute, and then I'll be doing the same thing again.
Sure.
What would you rate your perceived exertion as now?
I mean, I'd say at this point, probably a 13.
A 13? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So your heart rate is up to 130, which is perfect considering your RP at 13. Your blood pressure is up to 160 over 72. So the systolic has gone up as we expect with the exercise. Diastolic has not really gone up, which we would also expect because it's not supposed to. So let you go just a little bit. Actually, I think we're just about ready for the next one. So what we're looking for here is for your heart rate to have not increased by more than 5 beats per minute, which would signal to us that you're at a steady state, and we can conclude the test, and you can enter the cool down. I don't know why I'm doing your blood pressure before your heart rate this time, but I'd like to switch it up.
It's fine with me.
Okay, so that's pretty similar to what I just measured. And do you think your RP has changed from a minute ago?
No, I'd say it's still about 13.
Still 13? Okay. All right, get your heart rate. Okay.
Within 5 beats.
Yeah, so your heart rate was 132, it's just 130. So based on that, we can enter our cool down and the completion of the test. So I'm gonna bump you back down to 75, where we had your warm up at. Try to keep it at 50.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do this for 4 minutes. And then I'm gonna check your vitals one more time and make sure everything checks out. And then we should be good to go. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, all makes sense. Thank you.
Cool, yeah, no problem.